So hopefully you've had a tour around the interactive textbook. We'll have another quick look at that in a moment, but what I want to do first is draw your attention to some of the support materials that you can get your hands on for each textbook. That's really going to save you a lot of time. So as a teacher, we all know the one thing we don't have a lot of is time. And one of the great advantages of each of these books is they provide a huge range of support materials that's just going to make your job a lot faster and a lot easier. One of the few things I'll point your attention to, of course, is the PowerPoints that support the chapters. Now these are really useful resources that take you through the PowerPoint, which you can use in class. They're ready-made, you can adjust them and make them your own as you go. But this is, of course, as we know, one of those things that always seems to take a long time to prepare. What this also means too is that you've got a consistent resource across all of your classes. If you're like me and you come from a big school where there's multiple history classes across each year level, the one thing you really strive for in your team is consistency. So obviously then one of the other things that I've noticed too at my school at Cheltenham is we have people who are really specialists in geography or people who are specialists in business, and they're asked to teach history. So one of the other things that's supported are things like the teaching plan and the teaching tips and the suggested responses. And these are absolutely fantastic life-saving materials if you're not confident with that particular area. So each of these goes through question by question what should be a good response and what to look out for, and things to basically, be ready for when teaching these topics in classes. So for graduate teachers, for teachers who are returning to history, or teachers who perhaps don't have the same level of confidence, this is provided for every subject across the books. So this is a really wonderful resource. Added to all of that, of course, are the self-assessment checklists and the questions, which we'll get into right now. Alright, so what I'd like to do now is just walk you through some of the digital tools. Now you've seen these in the instructional video already, but there are some really great advantages with all of these tools that are going to make a teacher's life a lot easier. So as you've seen with the support materials, within each of the interactive textbook tasks, there are quizzes and review sections attached to that. So the quizzes are fantastic for obviously generating sort of summative understandings, but also formative understandings. And all of these can be downloaded and generated into reports, which I'll get to in a little bit. But one of the great advantages of the review section is that if you're looking at some of the more challenging tasks like interpretation or argument or the extension tasks, we know in the history classroom that teaching to write for history is itself a distinct skill. And one of the best ways we can do that, and one of the most high impact ways we can improve student outcomes, is by modelling responses. So when students write their responses in, they can check the answer and it will give them a fully fleshed out response that they can look at before they attempt to do it themselves. It is of course up to you whether or not you show them to them, but these are really advantageous ways that we can improve our students' capabilities. Alright, so one of the other things that I'm really excited about in this section and in the dashboard is the reports function, which is something that allows you to generate reports based on the work that the students do in the interactive textbook. So as you would have seen in the walkthrough, it generates really detailed reports on how students complete each section, and that is data that you can use to do formative and summative assessment and planning and reviewing your curriculum for the year. I work at a school that's really data driven, and this is a resource that's going to make our jobs a lot easier to do and a lot less time consuming. So I'm really excited about the ability to do that not only within this section but across the faculties as well. So that's a tool that's going to be really excellent and a real time saver. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk to you about is the resources that are available here. So at the beginning I spoke to you about some of the resources in terms of teaching plans and suggested answers and PowerPoints and all of the ways that you can kind of speed up your preparation and be ready for each class. One of the great things we've provided in this series under the teacher resources is a series of tasks that address the Victorian Curriculum's Capabilities Project. So each school approaches this very differently, but what we've provided here are ready to go assessment tasks to make sure that you're hitting all of your reporting needs. And if you have those students who are really excelling or really extending, or a student that perhaps needs a different task, these are great little tasks that allow the students to approach the subject in a different way and develop those capabilities. So what you'll notice with each one, it has a set task that they need to complete, but then added to that, there's a rubric that allows you to pick up, assess it, and report on it in quick time. So hopefully that's something that's going to make your life a lot easier. I know it's going to make mine a lot easier as well. Thank you for your attention. I really hope you guys enjoy this series as much as I did contributing to it. I'll see you soon.